Hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing great. Welcome to the end of term exam questions. This is the part two. The FRQ part is the free response questions or the writing part. In this question, we will convert between polar and rectangular equations. To convert, we need to remember a few important things. First thing is x is equal to r cosine theta and y is equal to r sine theta. If you know this, it's more than enough for these problems. Let's look into them one by one. Here they have given you rectangular coordinate. You need to write the polar form. So what is Rx is equal to exactly? That is R cosine theta. Whereas if it was Y, it's R sine theta. So R cosine theta is equal to minus 2. But you need to always get in terms of r equal to theta. This is the form you need to get the final answer. So now I don't want cosine theta over here. I need to take it to the other side. It's going to be r is equal to minus 2 by cosine theta. And then what we have to do is remember the reciprocal identity. 1 by cosine theta is secant theta, whereas 1 by sine theta would have been cosecant theta. So here it's 1 by cosecant, so it's r is equal to minus 2 secant theta. This is the final answer. So now this is not over. We need to graph as well. It's very rare you'll get such simple and easy problems. But now how would you graph it? Now the graphing would be by table and coordinate method, x and y. Over here it is r and theta. So here what you need to do is make a table. Okay, it's up to you to graph. Now they have told then write the equation and then draw the graph, polar graph. But you can strategically use the question because x is equal to minus 2 is so simple to graph. Why? If you have the coordinate plane, where is minus 2? Draw a straight line. That is the graph, right? You can graph this up. It's absolutely up to you. Now, what I would have done is I would have taken y and x or x and y. Let's take x and y. So now, since it's x is equal to minus 2, the x value just cannot change. Just vary the values of y. That's why I was about to take y and x. It's better to take y and x because you will understand the difference now. See, y and x. Why? Because we have the x value. X value is minus 2 throughout. Let's take some varying values of y. So let me take 0, 5, say 12 or minus 5. Everywhere the x value is minus 2. So wherever you go, minus 5 over here, here, here. So it is just a straight line. So in the exam, once you do this, this is the writing part. Just if you're this is a simple one, so you have to just write 3 lines. That's it. But you'll have the coordinates. So whichever coordinates are given, you will be given a polar coordinate. But I just want to show you, see along this line, minus 2, if you draw a straight line, it's done. How would you do it in the polar coordinate? 1, 2. This is the radius 2, right? Just draw minus 2 here. That would be the final answer. Let me show you the final graph, actual graph. Here you can see that's 1 and 2. Here we go. That is the answer. X is equal to minus 2. Simple as that. Now, if you want to know, see, this is the answer which we had got as well. If you want to know how to get the table for this, let me show you. You can get the x and y values using the calculator. But please do remember here, let's clear the calculator or put it in degree mode because it's easier to analyze then. Because see, pi by 6, I know it is 30 degrees, but it's easier to understand 30 degrees rather than pi by 6. So mine is in degree mode, or you can just press shift mode and then 3 to get in degrees. Press mode and 7 for table. Then what is the equation here? This is the equation, right? R is considered to be f of x. And what is the equation? It's minus 2. But we do not have secant. But we know we have 1 by sine, right? So I'll do 1 divided by, cosine. This is cosine x. I hope this much is clear. Press equal to. There is no second equation. I'll just press equal to. Many of your calculators directly jump to the start. Always for polar coordinates, start at 0, end at 30, and end at 360, step is 30. Just remember 0, 360, 30. And here you get the table. So now if you look carefully, at 0, what is the value? Minus 2. See, at 0, that is over here, it's minus 2. Yes, that's minus 2. What about 30 degrees? 30 degrees, this line. Minus means you go opposite. See, it's 1, 2, 2.3. This is the point. At 60 degrees, 60 is this line. You go 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you see it's exactly at 4? So all these points which are given match this line. Over here it was 2.3 or something. Sorry, this is 30 degrees. Yeah, 2.3, because this is 3. This is about 4, 3. So this is not the correct point. This is the correct point. Yes, it matches. And then 60 degree. If you have a ruler or a scale, you can easily figure out the correct values. And then you can go into the other one. Some are error. Why? Because there are no points. See, for example, 90 degree. Are they anywhere? No, there's no points at all. So that's an error. That's out of the domain as well of secant. So therefore, you can see all these values. And now if you go to see where is here we can see it's 240. 240 would be somewhere. This is 90, 180. It's somewhere over here. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 240 degrees. That's 4. So this is how we can easily figure out the correct graph. And in the exam, you can just write few of these values in the table. Say you can write this as r and theta, 0. Sorry, it is r, theta and r. My bad. Please remember, it is not r and theta, it is theta and r. See? Theta, r, radius. So because f of x, what did we consider to be? R. Okay, so we are getting the f of x values. So just write a few values for 0, 30 degrees, 60 degrees, 90. Maybe 5 values are enough. And write the radiuses, and then you will easily get the answers. So that's how we do it. Now, what about this problem? Looks big, but similar. You need to substitute the formulas throughout. See, the table method doesn't vary. It's the same thing for all. Whichever equation, you have to just make the table for theta and r and do it. So I'll not repeat the same thing again and again. I'll show you the graph, but let us solve this one up. R cosine theta plus phi the whole square plus r sine theta the whole square equals 25. We need to simplify this. Now here, this is plus whole square. That's binomial. That is like a plus b the whole square. I hope you remember the identity. It's a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. If at all you add minus in the middle, then it'll be a squared minus 2 times ab plus b squared. Now then, we will expand this accordingly. The first term is squared. R cosine theta the whole squared plus 2 times r cosine theta times phi plus phi squared plus r sine theta I could have expanded, but anyways, it's 25. Now here, this power 2, right, becomes for both because they're multiplied. If it is ab the whole square, what happens? It is a squared b squared. So r squared cosine squared theta plus 2 times 5 will be 10r cosine theta plus 25 plus r squared sine squared theta, that is equal to 25. Now you can cancel this 25 because if it goes to the other side, it will be 0. You can do one thing, directly cancel it off, or for the first problem, I'll write in detail here. R squared cosine squared. Let me group this r squared and r squared. This is going to be r squared sine squared theta. So it's r squared cos squared theta, r plus r squared sine squared theta plus 10r cosine theta, that is equal to 25 minus 25. This is equal to 0 because I moved this to the other side. Now then, can I remove this r and r common outside? Of course you can. And then you're remaining with cosine squared theta plus sine squared theta. That is equal to, how about I move this to the other side? Now this side is 0. When I move the plus 10r cosine, it becomes minus 10r cosine theta. What is the identity, Pythagorean identity for this? Cosine squared theta plus sine squared theta. This is equal to 1. These are the formulas which we have to remember. So it's r squared times 1 is equal to minus 10r cosine theta. But look at this. This r and r squared. If you divide both the sides by r, this r and r cancels. The power is gone. It's basically dividing both the sides by r. Imagine like this. That cancels this and the power goes. Because there are two r's here, one is gone. So you're remaining with only r multiplied by 1 is r minus 10 cosine theta. This is the final answer. You can't simplify further because we got r at one side and everything else at the other side. So that is how we solve it. Now this is the writing part. This is very important to write it out. After this, you have to make the table and graph it up. See, once you get minus 10 cosine theta, I've done the detailed steps. In the next problems, I'll skip some steps and directly get to the answer. Here, all the steps are in detail and the formulas as well. And once we do that, you can just make a table of x and y and then get these answers. Let me show you again the table method. Please make sure you keep it in degree mode. It's in degree mode now. Let's go to mode 7 for the table and type this right side. It's minus 10 cosine alpha x. That is equal to, what is, there's no g of x. What is the start? It's always 0 and ended at 360. Why? Because it's a circle. The degrees, we want the answers at every 30 degrees. So here we go. At 0, it's minus 10. Is it true? The last one is, the last string is minus 10. So here it's minus 10. Yes, correct, at 0. At 30 degrees, is it minus 8.6? 2, 4, 6. Wait a minute. This one here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 8.6. Because middle is 9. Less than that, it's correct. What about 60 degrees and 5? This is 60 degrees. 2, 4, and 5. It's in the middle. Yes, it's 5. And you can see 90 degrees is 0. At 0, yes, 90 degrees, 0 itself. And so on. You can just look into these values. Make sure you write maybe 4 to 5 values in a table and then graph it up. Easily you can graph it up. Now, one more thing is, looking at this equation, you can know it's x squared plus y squared equals 25. It's a circle. And then the radius is square root of 25. That's 5. Yes, it's 5, right? Total is 10. The diameter, so radius is 5. And it is plus 5. That means it has moved the center to minus 5. Yes, it's at the left side, 5. So that is also possible. You can easily use the rectangular coordinates and graph it up. It's up to you, but make sure you write some values in the table and then correspond. Make some points, you know. Say we got this easily. That was minus 10. Then we got this point, this point, this point, and then you can look at this. It's cosine theta. It's a circle. You can just extend it symmetrically on the upside. Now let's solve this one over here. What is y? It is r sine theta. That is equal to minus 3. Now what about r? R is equal to minus 3 divided by sine theta, and r will be equal to minus 3 cosecant theta, because 1 by sine is cosecant theta. So that will be the final answer. And then make sure you do the table and graph it. But look at this. Y is minus 3. Draw a straight line here at 1, 2, 3, minus 3. That's it. Now here we have parabola, but it's not y is equal to x squared. It's x is equal to y squared. That means it is horizontally oriented. It will be like this, the final graph. Now how do we solve this? X is what? R cosine theta is equal to, what about this? R sine theta, the whole square. Instead of putting whole square, I'll just put square and square, because AB the whole square is equal to A square and B squared. Next, what we need to do is, you can see this R and over here R. How about we cancel it off? Or you divide both the sides by R, this goes off. Now what is remaining? Cosine theta in the left side, R over here. What about sine square theta? Let's take it to the other side. Divide both the sides by sine square theta. This is it. Now what exactly is sine square theta? It's 2 sine theta in the denominator, right? So it's basically cosine theta divided by sine theta. And one more, I'll just write it as 1 by sine theta. This is all equal to R. Now we got R at one side, but let's simplify this. What is cosine theta by sine theta? We know sine by cosine is tan, cosine by sine is cotangent. That's cot theta. Now what about 1 by sine? We did in the last problem. It is cosecant theta. That is equal to R. So this is the answer. You can see it is cotangent and cosecant. Now you might be thinking how to get the graph. Now you can easily look from here. It will be a horizontal parabola, but you can get it from the table. Let's take a calculator. It is mode 7 And then type this. What is cotangent? It is 1 by tan theta. So tan, shift and x over here multiplied by 1 by sine theta. So 1 divided by sine theta, close the bracket. Start it at 0, end it at 360 degrees, and give a step of 30 degrees. And here we go. Now the first one, 0, is an error. Leave that. Why? Because we'll come to it in a minute. Do the others. 30 degrees. This is 30 degrees. How much is it? 1, 2, 3.4 something. Yes, that's about that. And what about the other values? 60 degrees. That is here. It is 0.66. Yes, because this is 1. It's within that. Now, what about 90? Error. Why? Because you don't have any point over there. But you will get one answer here as well. See, somewhere it will be 0. Now, don't worry about the 0 part. Why? Because that is out of the domain here. Now, if at all you graph these few points, let me show you. Say 120. What is 120 exactly? That's over here, right? Now, minus 0.66 will be somewhere over here. This is the point. We got this point. We got this point. Now, what about minus 150? It's minus 3.14. So 150, 3.46. 1, 2, 3, 4, somewhere over here. You can just join these points like this, and that is enough. So that is how we can graph this up. All the others, you can just use the table method and graph it up. Doesn't matter what equation this, just put the points in the table. Use start as 0, 360 degrees and 30 degrees. This is very important in the table method. And it must be in degree mode. If it is radian mode, then you have to put 0 to pi, and then you need to put pi by 6. Rather than that, it's much easier to interpret when it's in degrees. Now, how do we solve this? Here, I'll directly start solving the problem. R cosine theta minus 2 the whole square plus r square sine square theta equals 4. Now, I'm using the identity a minus b the whole square. So, a minus b the whole square is a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. And here we go, it'll be r squared cosine square theta. That's the first term squared. Done. This is done. Minus 2 times, again, a is this one over here, r cosine theta times 2 plus, that is done, middle term is done, plus the last term squared, all done. Plus r square sine square theta equals 4. 2 square and 4, it cancels off. Both the sides subtract by 4, that goes off. Now, r square and r square can be removed outside. What remains inside is cosine square theta plus sine square theta. And then I'll remove this to the other side. This minus 2r becomes positive 2r cosine theta. It's not 2, sorry, it is 4 over here. Right, because 2 times 2 is 4 r cosine theta. And this, whatever is in the middle, is 1. And now what I'm going to do is this and this cancels off. So it's r is equal to 4 cosine theta. So that is the final answer. So that will be a circle. You can see r 4 cosine theta, and that will be a circle. And you can easily see it's minus 2. That means 2 to the right. This is the center. And then you can graph it up. Or you can use mode table. Use 4 cosine theta and 0, 360 and 30 degrees. Get the points. You will get some points. At least write few in the table and then graph it up. Here as well. Let's see this problem here. It will be r cosine theta minus 1 the whole square minus r square sine square theta equals 1. Now we have to expand using the identity, that is a minus b the whole square. It's going to be r square cosine square theta minus 2 times r cosine theta multiplied by 1. I'm not going to write it. Plus 1 minus r square sine square theta equals 1. So what happens here? This goes off. Now let me take this to the other side. But here now I can remove the r square and r square. What am I remaining with? It is cosine square theta minus sine square theta. That is equal to 2r cosine theta. Now what is cos square theta minus sine square theta? You can write it as cos 2 theta. R squared, this formula is cosine square theta minus sine square theta is cos 2 theta, double angle identity, 2r cosine theta. This r and r squared cancels off. So r will be equal to 2 cosine theta divided by cos 2 theta. This is it. Now, okay, you can take this cosine up as well. It'll become 2 cos theta sine 2 theta. This is the answer. You can see the final answer would be, they have written to, okay, it's not sine, my bad, it's secant. 1 by cosine is secant. I did a major blunder. I knew it in my mind, but when I wrote it, I wrote it as sine. It is 1 by cosine is secant, whereas 1 by sine is cosecant. You can see the identity that was used. Cosine square minus sine square is cos 2 theta. That is important. And then we get over here. You can write cosine theta into cos 2 theta. It's up to you. You can write whichever first. Cosine first and then secant. That's fine. And this will be the graph. Now here as well, let me show you using the table. It's mode 7. Let's type this out. 2 into, what is secant? It is 1 by cosine 2 theta. That is 2x. Close the bracket. And then we have cosine x. Press equal to, start it at 0, end it at 360, and let us give a step of 30 degrees. And here you go, these are the values. Write a few. But here, make sure you'll get these values properly. But before everything, look at this. This is like x square minus y square equals 1. It's a hyperbola. Looking at the rectangular form, you should know it's somewhat like a hyperbola. Now, 0 is 2. So you'll get this point here. What about 30 degrees? 30 degrees over here, it's 3. 1, 2, 3.4 somewhere over here. Then we have 60 degrees minus 2. This is 60 degree. Minus 2 means 1, 2. See, this is the point. You're getting plenty of points as you go on. Okay, this is 0 again, 2. Let me just plot a few more. At 90 degrees it is 0. So this is 1 point. At 120 degrees it is 2. This is 1 more point. And then 150 it is minus 3.1. So it's 150. 1, 2, 3 points. See, this is the point. Now you're getting few of these. See, within the 6 values, I can understand this hyperbola is something to do like this and like this. So just join the points, approximately, and you'll get that answer. That's how we can do it. And write about, see, from 0 to 150 degrees. That's more than enough. So that's how we graph it up. All the graphs can be easily done in the calculator. Now, how do we expand this one here? It is r squared cosine squared theta plus r sine theta, it's not squared or anything, plus 3 the whole square equals 9. Now there is one more thing. Some methods involve one more thing, that is y plus 3 the whole square. You can expand y itself. That is y squared plus 2 times 3 is 6y plus 9. And then you can substitute r squared sine squared, it is y is sine, r squared sine squared theta plus 6 r sine theta plus 9. That is also fine. Now even if you use the formula first and do it, it's up to you. Both will be the correct answer. Now here it will be r squared sine squared theta plus 6r sine theta plus 9 equals 9. This 9 cancels because 3 squared is 9. So it is the same thing. Now here r squared can be removed out and it is cosine squared plus sine squared. That is equal to 1. We'll write in the next step. Plus sine squared theta. This will be equal to the 6r to the other side minus 6r sine theta. R and r squared cancels off. It's r times 1 is equal to minus 6 sine theta. So this is the final answer. You can just write r is equal to minus 6 sine theta. That's a circle. Over here we go, and this is the answer. So minus 6 means it'll be having a total distance of 6, the diameter, and here it goes downwards. Okay, we have now got square root functions. Don't worry, it's the same thing. R sine theta will be equal to root 3 r cosine theta. Now then we need, okay, see here what happens. R and r goes off. Divide both the sides by r. Your r is gone. So now let's take cosine to the other side. It'll be sine theta divided by cosine theta. That is equal to root 3. Now what I'm doing is, because there's no radius, let me group up theta to one side and the numbers to one more side. Now sine by cosine is equal to tan theta. That is equal to root 3. Now, if r is equal to 3 theta, this is what we need. But see, it is usually y is equal to x, isn't it? But sometimes the equations are just y is equal to 3 or x is equal to 2. Now here what we need to do is either write r alone or theta alone. So I don't want this tan. How to remove this? Take both the sides by tan inverse. So it will be tan theta that is equal to tan inverse square root 3. So here this goes off, theta is equal to tan inverse of square root 3. You can put that in the calculator. I believe it's 30 or 60 degrees. So shift and tan inverse of square root 3 is equal to 60 degrees, not 30, sorry. So that will be the answer. Theta is equal to 60 degrees. So how would you graph this? Look at the graph. It's a very simple graph. Wherever you see 60 degrees, what is that? Pi by 3. Okay, now one more thing. They have written over here pi by 3, which is equal to 60 degrees. 180 by 3 is 60 degrees. It's same. Pi by 3 is in radian mode. Now here this is 60 degrees, right? This and over here as well, because we do not know the radius is gone, can be any, so we just draw a straight line at 60 degrees. And also in the opposite sign, minus 60 as well. See, this is not minus 60, basically you're taking plus or minus r, so it can be 60 degrees or the opposite side of 60 degrees. So that's a straight line over there. That's it. Yeah, that's how we do it. It's not from here, it's from 60 degrees and then we extend it backwards. That is, theta is equal to pi by 3 or 60 degrees. What about this one? Here it is r cosine theta. Let's square both of these. Plus r sine theta plus 1, the whole square equals 1. R square cosine square theta plus r square sine square theta plus 2 times r sine theta plus 1 is equal to 1. This cancels off, and then you can remove this r square outside, and what happens? Cosine square plus sine square is 1, and I'll take this 2r to the other side, will be minus 2r sine theta. So we'll cancel this r square and r, so you're remaining with r is equal to minus 2 sine theta. Again we have a circle, but it'll be down. Why? Because we have sine, isn't it? Sine is up or down, but it's minus 2, so it'll be down, and the total diameter will be 2. You can use the table method and get that values. Here as well, it'll be r squared sine, it's not sine, sorry, cosine. X always involves cosine. Very important thing to remember. X is r cosine theta, y is r sine theta. Plus r sine theta minus 8, the whole square is equal to 64. Now let me expand this. It'll be cosine square theta plus the first term square, r square sine square theta, minus 2 times AB. 2 times 8 is 16, and then multiply r sine theta plus r square, that's this 8 square is 64, that is equal to 64. This cancels off, and you can take r square common outside, so you are remaining with cosine square theta plus sine square theta, that is equal to 1. And then I'll take this minus 16r to the other side, will be plus 16r sine theta. And then over here we can cancel this r and r by dividing both the sides by r, so you're remaining with r only because this entire thing is 1, and we have 16 sine theta. Here we go, that will be the answer. It'll be in the upside. Why? Because it is positive 16 and sine is either up or down. This total diameter will be 16. You can see the scale here, it's 0, 4, 12, 16, so it's 16 here. Before moving ahead, a quick reminder and a humble request. Please do share my channel and my videos with your friends and to whoever that can benefit from it. And I also kindly ask you if you can hit the subscribe button and like my videos, it would mean a lot. In this question, we will use de Moivre's theorem to solve problems. De Moivre's theorem is given like this. If we have a complex number, that is an imaginary part and a real part together, then we can raise its power using de Moivre's theorem. So if you want to raise this, say, to the power n, then you need to raise the radius to the power n and then multiply n along the angle of cosine and sine. The theta will be the same value. Remember, here it must be in this form, that is r cosine theta plus I sine theta. that is in polar form. If at all it's in rectangular form, you need to convert to polar form and then solve it up. Let's look into a problem. Here you can see this is the rectangular form. 2 plus 2 root 3i. If you recall the formula, now what are these terms? You can write it as x and y or a and b, various ways. I'll just take it as a and b. What is the radius? Square root of a squared plus b squared. Now what is the angle theta? Theta is tan inverse b divided by a. But here there is a very important condition. This is the formula when a is positive. If a is negative, then you need to add pi, that is 180 degrees or pi. So let's solve it up. What happens with r? R is square root of 2 squared plus 2 root 3 the whole square. Just use calculator to solve these, and theta will be tan inverse of b is 2 root 3 divided by 2. And theta will be tan inverse of root 3, that is 60 degrees, or pi by 6. Pi by 3, sorry, this cancels. So you just put in the calculator, no need of doing it by solving. First I'll do this r, that is 2 squared plus, use the brackets, 2 root 3 square root 3, close the bracket, next, and then close the bracket and square it up. The answer is 4, that is r. What about this? It's tan inverse, that is shift and tan inverse of square root 3. Close the bracket. It'll be 60 degrees, but we need everything in terms of pi. Just stick to radian. Yes, you can use degrees and stuff, but just stick to radians. Is that okay? Shift and more than 4, that gives you pi by 3, or 1/3 of pi. So r is equal to 4, and this is pi by 3. So now what is the polar form of this given question? Instead of writing whatever is inside over here, I'm going to write r into cosine theta plus I sine theta. That will be equal to 4 times cosine pi by 3 plus I, that is the imaginary part, sine pi by 3. Now, how much powers do I need to raise this by? I need to raise it by power 6. So what happens over here is this power will be 4, radius will be raised to the power 6. But this cosine, you need to write 6 multiplied by pi by 3 plus I sine 6 multiplied by pi by 3. This is it, and that's the total one. And now let's put in the calculator. You can solve these all individually in the calculator, and then you can write the final answer. 4 raised to power 6 will be 4096. 4096 here. And what about cosine? This is going to be 2 pi. Cosine 2. Shift and pi here. The reason for me to write 2 pi is 6 divided by 3 is 2. Or you can write it as 6. Okay, this is wrong. 6 pi divided by 3. So this is how we write it. It's 1. And then over here, sine will be 0. Sine 2 pi will be 0. So here the real part is 1 plus I times 0. That is imaginary part. So what's going to be the answer? So this, here we have 1 plus 0. Basically, it's 1 itself. Okay, because I times 0 is 0. So that will be 4096. That is the answer. If you raise this given rectangular form by power 6, which has imaginary, you will have 4096 as the answer. So here we go. And that's the final answer. Let's do all these problems. I would highly encourage you to pause the video now, try all these problems by yourselves, and then continue watching if you have done any mistake or error. Here, first thing, I'm not going to write all the formulas again and again. R equals square root. Now, what is A value? Be careful. Don't consider this as A. Not at all. It is minus 5 plus 12i, the whole power 3. You need to know the first real part is A, imaginary part is B, because it's given in the form of A plus BI. And here we have minus 5 the whole square plus 12 the whole square. That will be R. And over here for theta, it is tan inverse of What do we have? 12 is b by a, but a is negative, minus, so plus pi, because a is negative, minus. So we just put in the calculator, you will get the values. Make sure your calculator is in radian mode. If it's not, press shift mode and then 4. We have square root. Because it's minus, let's open the brackets. We can just take the value, because whenever we square minus, it becomes positive. Plus 12 squared, and the answer is 13. So r is equal to 13. What about theta? Theta will be shift and tan, that's over here. 12 divided by minus 5, close the bracket, and plus pi. If it's in degree, it's 180. Let's just put pi, that's more easier. It's 1.97. I'll just take it as 1.967. 1.97. Or you can take 4 decimal points, it'll be 1.9656. Now then, what do we need to do? We have to solve using de Moivre's theorem. So here, de Moivre's theorem will be, first let me write it in the polar form. This particular question will be equal to r times cosine theta plus I sine theta. Here we have r is 13 times cosine. Now it's 1.97. It's not written in terms of pi, but that's fine. This value, you need to put it properly. And sine 1.97. This everything is raised to the power how much? 3. So that is going to be 13 to the power 3 times cosine, sorry, not theta, cosine 3 times 1.97 plus I sine 3 times 1.97. That is how we use the powers here. And that is it. So we will use our calculators and solve what is 13 cubed, cosine 3 times 1.97 and sine 3 times 1.97. So here it's 13 cubed, that is 2197. So the first value is 2197. What about cosine and sine values? Cosine 3 times 1.97, close the bracket. The answer is 0.93. It's 0.93 plus I times, over here all you need to do is change this from cosine to sine. Only one sine, and here we go. It is minus 0.36. So everything together, that will be 2197 times. This is fine, but this will be minus 0.36 I. Now it's not over. You need to multiply this value inside to both of these terms. So it'll be 2197 multiplied by, let's do 0.93. That's going to be, let me put it as 93. That's going to be 2043. I'll just write it as a whole number, I think, so that's fine. Minus, now this one over here will be 36. But it is minus. You can just write this and then write minus sign. That is also fine. You can write it as 791i. I've just rounded it off because they have not told any decimal points or anything. So even if you write this, you will get the full marks. Not to worry. So here you can see. See now, what's the issue here? They have got 2035 and I've got these variations. The reason being, they have, okay, for sure they have not taken 1.97. They have taken other decimal values. See, literally they have taken the exact value. Look over here, they have taken the exact value. That means all the decimal points are included. Therefore, they're getting this. Now, when we correct your papers, we will look into the variations. Now, this is varying a lot. We have just rounded off to 2 decimal points. Don't worry, this value will be correctly assessed. You will get full marks for this. Or if you have taken 4 decimal points, you will get the full marks. Not to worry, the variation is little. Now, you might be thinking, oh my God, this is completely different. The variation, because you're cubing it, right? The error multiplies. That is the reason, okay? But it's fine. This is correct answer itself. In your exam, to be on the safer side, what you can do is, instead of 797, You can take what we had got 9656 or 36, I guess, something like that. 9656 or whatever. Take 4 decimal points, you will get much accurate answer. Now let's do the next one. Here, now this is very easy. Why? Because it's in the polar form. All you need to do is 4 to the power 4 cosine 4 times pi by 2 plus I sine pi by 2. 4 times pi by 2. Now we'll just put it in the calculator. It's 4 raised to the power 4. It's going to be 256. That is 256. Now if you know the values here, it'll be cosine 2 pi. 2 pi it's 1, and over here it's going to be 0. You can directly write it, but anyways, we will double check our values into pi by 2. That is pi here divided by 2. Sorry, it's 4 times, not 2 times. 4 times, so it's cosine, it's 1, and now just remove this cosine to sine and it will be 0. So we have 1 plus I times 0, so it's going to be 256 times 1. That's the answer. 256 will be the final answer. Here we go. What about this one? Here we need to find the radius and the theta value. R will be equal to square root of square root 3 the whole square plus, now here it is minus 1 the whole square. What about theta? It is tan inverse of b. B is minus 1, but that doesn't matter. Only value, if the denominator value was negative, then we had to add pi. Here, nothing else. This is it. So now we just put in the calculator and you'll get the values. Square root of square root 3, it's just going to be 3. Okay, square root of again square root 3 whole square plus minus 1. It's just going to be 4. Square root of 4. The answer will be 2. And over here it's tan inverse of minus 1 by root 3. Please remember here, it is not going to be plus pi. Why? Because the b value, the denominator is positive itself. So answer is minus pi by 6. That's it. Here, if at all, see now this is the answer, right? If at all the denominator was minus, that is b value, a value. If it was minus root 3, then yes, we had to add a pi. So here r is equal to 2, theta is equal to minus pi by 6. So this would be the answer. Now what next? So once we have r and theta, we can write it in the form of r of cosine theta plus I sine theta. This is the polar form of imaginary numbers, complex numbers. So it's 2 into cosine. Remember the sine minus pi by 6 plus I sine minus pi by 6. See, how much is the power we're raising? It's power 3. So this is going to be 2 to the power 3 times cosine 3 times minus pi by 6. You just put in the calculator. So just write it out. Writing is very important here. Sine times 3 times minus pi by 6. And that's it. So we'll just put in the calculator and we'll get the values. It's 8. And it's going to be pi by 2. That's 1, I believe. So we'll just use calculator. Cosine 3, especially when there's minus sign and all, just to be on the safer side, pi by 6. Close it up. Over here it's 0. Sorry. Oh yes, you start with pi by 2 will be 90 degrees, so it's 0. Yes. And what about sine? There's going to be 1. Sorry, minus 1, because there's minus. Yeah, it'll be minus pi by 2. Correct. So it is 0 and minus 1 here. 0 plus I times minus 1. So it'll be 8 times minus I. So it's minus 8i. That will be the final answer. So this is it. You can see the final answer will be minus 8i. Here you can see they have not written the minus sign. It's very important to write the minus sign. Here I can see this error. It's minus over here everywhere. It should have been minus. So we are getting minus 1. Yes. Now we can Okay, they have missed the minus sign here itself, but I'll show you why the solution set is wrong. Here we have sine 3 times minus pi by 6, it's minus 1. But what if I remove this minus sign? It's going to be positive 1. It's entirely wrong. Here this answer should have been plus 8, but the correct answer is what we had got as well. It is minus 8i, but here they have missed out the minus signs. Next one, again, we need to convert into complex form and then use De Moivre's theorem. It will be square root of 3 squared plus minus 5 the whole square. And theta is tan inverse of b is minus 5 divided by a. Again, we don't add pi because a value is positive, only the b is negative. Square root of 3 square plus minus 5 the whole square. Here we go, that is square root 34. Let us write it as square root 30. It's 3 squared. Yeah, it's going to be square root 34. Let's write it as square root 34 itself. Because if we take decimal points, then the final answer will vary a bit. But that's absolutely fine. You can take it as here 5.83 as well. But let's stick to square root 34. Now, what about this? It's tan inverse. See, as long as it's in radian mode, it's fine. If not, please shift it to radian mode. It is minus 5 divided by 3, close the brackets. And here we go. It is negative 1.03. Minus 1.03. You can use this entire thing in the answer, but it's just too much things to write. So now I'm just going to use the formula directly. It will be r to the power 4 multiplied by cosine 4 times theta. You multiply it plus I sine 4 times theta. 4 theta. Why? Because we're raising it to the power 4. So let's substitute. It's 34 square root 34 the whole raised to power 4. And we have cosine 4 times minus 1.03 plus I sine 4 times minus 1.03. Here we go. So all you do is put in the calculator all these values and you will get the answer. Square root 34, press next and close the bracket and raise it to the power 4. The answer is 1156. Here 1156. Next, what we do is cosine 4 times minus 1.03. It's not 103, it's 1.03, my bad. And here we go, the answer is minus 0.56. Minus 0.56. And what about sine? All you do is, okay, not this. Okay, this one. Just change it by sine. And it is positive 0.83 plus I 0.83. Now we have to multiply 1156 throughout these both values. So here if I multiply 1156, see, this might vary. It'll be 959. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take only 2 decimal points because I'd consider only 2 decimal points elsewhere. It is, yeah, it's almost the same. So it is I 959.5. What about the left side, the real part? That is 0.56 times 1156. The answer is 647.4. Remember, it will be minus. Why? Because I have not added the minus sign here. So it will be minus 0.56. So the answer will be minus 0.6. Sorry, not 0. It is 647.4. So this is the final answer. So here we go. That'll be the final answer. Now you can see our answers are not exactly same, but it's very, very close, and that's absolutely fine. You will get full marks for this. It's almost 960 and over here it's 644 minus 644. So there we go. If you have taken the exact value, see over here they have taken tan inverse minus 5 by 3, you will get these. But it's fine, even if you take decimal points, you will get full marks. Now let me do this one here. This is going to be r equals square root 2 square plus 4 square. Theta equals tan inverse of 4 by 2 and r equals theta equals, let's use a calculator and find the answers. Square root 2 square plus 4 square, that's gonna be 2 root 5, or square root 20. You can write square root 20, it's easier. 4 and 16, 4 plus 16, that's same as 2 root 5. Okay, I'm just writing this because it's easier to write inside square root rather than outside. What about over here? Tan inverse 4 by 2, that is tan inverse of 2, it's positive 1.11 because it's approximately equal to 1, 1. Now we'll not get the accurate answers as the final answer, but we'll get very, very close to it. Why? Because I'm just taking 2 decimal points. Let me take 4 decimal points here. Okay, how about this? 1.071. Okay, I've taken 4 decimal points. It'll be much more accurate this time. And we have to do, I'm directly going to write 20 square root 20 raised to the power 4. Then what do we have? Multiplied by cosine 4 times 1.1071 plus I sine 4 times 1.1071. 1.1071. Here we go. And then we just put this in the calculator. Square root 20, open it up. Sorry, not 4, power 4, yeah. It's not squared, it's power 4, it's 400. What about cosine and sine value? Cosine is 4 times 1.1071. It's minus 0.2, minus 0.2802. I'm going to take 4 decimal points even over here. I times, just change this to sine. And here we go. It's minus again. This will be minus 0.9599. Now you have to multiply these with 400. So 400 times, I'll start with minus 0.2802. And the answer is minus 112.08 minus again 400 times, sorry, 400 times over here, minus 0.9599. And what is the answer? It's 383.96. It's almost 384, you can say. I'll write the 2 decimal points as well, because I was sticking to 4 decimal points, right? I'm just now reducing it. And that's the answer. See, it's almost 384 and it is almost over here 112. But if you had taken the exact value, then you would have got minus 112 minus 384. I forgot to write I here. This I is for the second part, that's the imaginary part. This is absolutely correct. What about this problem? I'm sure by now you are well and thorough with all these problems. R equals square root 3 square plus minus 6 the whole square. Theta equals tan inverse of b by a, that is minus 6 by 3. So here a is positive, so it's no plus pi. It's only so much. Square root 3 squared plus minus 6 the whole squared. The answer is 3 root 5. Just write it over here, 3 square root 5. That's it, r. What about theta? That's tan inverse of minus 2, because minus 6 by 3 will be minus 2. That's going to be minus 1.1071. It got the same thing, but we had got plus in the last problem. So now here, this 3 square root 5 would be raised to the power 5. We have to use the brackets, otherwise you won't get the correct answer. Plus next, now bracket power 4, sorry. And over here, open the brackets as well. So here it'll be this thing, 3 square root 5 the whole power 4. And over here we have cosine 4 times minus 1.1071 plus I sine 4 times minus 1.1071. Here this is 2025. It's here. And cosine 4, sorry, it's cosine 4 times minus 1.1071, that is minus 0.2802. And what about the next one? Just change it over here to sine. And here we go, it is plus 0.9599. And I hope you remember this. We just did it a while ago. And now these answers needs to be multiplied by 2025. That is minus 2.2802. And here we go, it is 567.4, 567.4. And lastly, we have plus. Okay, again, I missed the I. Don't forget the I. That's the imaginary part. Complex numbers have a real part and the imaginary part. Now here, it is just going to change to 9599. And it will be, okay, it's minus. Sorry, it's plus. My bad, I put this minus by mistake. It's plus. So this has to be plus 1943.8. So that should be the final answer. Here we go. You can see this is minus 567, almost right. And over here we are nearly there. Why? Because we have not taken the exact value. We have taken 4 decimal points only. So that's how we solve these. Even over here, I just solved all of them, but you can just move ahead with the next topic because these are the same type of problems we are solving. R equals 2 squared plus 3 squared the whole square root. Theta equals tan inverse of 3 divided by 2. And in calculator, we type these both. So it is square root 2 squared plus 3 squared. The answer is square root 13. R is equal to square root 13. Theta will be tan inverse of, you can use a fraction or you can write 1.2, 1.5, that's 3 by 2. And here we go, it will be theta is equal to 0.9828. And now the answer over here will be square root 13 the whole power 2 times cosine 2 times 0.9828 plus I sine 2 times 0.9828. Why is it 2? Because we are just raising it to the power 2. So this is going to be 13, that's it. But cosine 2 times 0.9828. Close the bracket. And that's minus 0.3846. That's 13. The square root cancels off and 13 will remain. Plus, what about sine here? Just change this to sine and you'll get the value. That is plus 0.I and then 0.9231. Now we have to multiply all these by 13. So it'll be 13 times minus 0.3846. And here we go. The value is, see, I'm just going to write 4 because even if you approximate it, it's going to be 4.99. It'll be 5 if you take 2 decimal points. Minus 5 plus, what will be this value? It's going to be 13 times 0.9231. And that's going to be 12. So I 12i or I times 12, it's the same thing. So minus 5 plus 12i. So that will be the final answer. Here we go. Negative 5 plus 12i. Now this is an easy problem. Why? Because over here it's in the complex form. So we don't have to convert it. We directly use 3 power 3 times cosine 3 pi by 6 plus I sine. Again, it is 3 pi by 6 because 3 times pi by 6 would be over here. And then we put in the calculator. It's basically pi by 2. Okay, you can even do that. 3 squared will be 27, and cosine pi by 2, you know, it's 0 plus I over here. Pi by 2 is 1i. So that is going to be 27i. That is the answer. But you can use please do use calculator to check the value. Cosine pi by 2 is 0. Sine pi by 2 will be, because I'm cancelling over here, 3 and 2 will be pi by 2. Over here, pi by 2 will be 1. And real part is 0. Imaginary part remains. 27i is the answer. That's it. And even the last one is going to be an easy one. It's going to be 2 to the power 4 times cosine 4 pi 4 plus I sine 4 pi by 4. And now we will solve it up. 2 to the power 4, it's 816. That is multiplied by cosine. It's pi. That's 180 degrees. And that will be 180 degrees minus 1 plus I sine pi, that is 0. So here we will have 16 times minus 1 plus 0. So minus 16 must be the final answer. There's only real value, no negative value. So here the values were so easy to cancel off, so it was easily found out. Cosine pi, that's minus 1, so 16 times minus 1, but sine pi is 0, so therefore we get these answers. In this question, we will investigate different types of sequences. Here we have a real world problem about automobile leases. Lease agreement often contains clauses that contain the number of kilometers driven per year by charging a per kilometer fee over that limit. For the car shown below, the lease requires that the number of kilometers driven each year must be no more than 15,000. So now the first one is not about this details. They have told about 15,000 kilometers to be drawn each year. So now that means if it's the first year, it's 15,000. I'll just write it as K. Next will be 30K. Then we will have 45K and we will have so on. That's the sequence. But here they have told something else. First part, write the sequence describing the maximum number of allowed kilometers on the car at the end of 12 months, of the lease if the car has 1,350 kilometers at the beginning of the lease. So yes, we have to keep on adding 15,000, but they have already told it has 1,350. Basically, just add 1.35k everywhere over here, then you'll get it. But let's do exactly how to do it. Say year 1, that is A1, first year. So we know it already has 1,350 kilometers, right? You need to add how much is the limit in the first year? 15,000. So that will be the answer. It will be 16,350. Same thing here, second one. Now here we have done, second one will be A1 plus 15,000. See, this is recurring. So it will be A1 plus 15,000. That is basically how much? Second term will be A1, that is 16,350 plus 15,000. So here we have 31,350. Basically, it's 30,000 plus 1,350. Same thing. What about the third term? Because we have to write it for 3 years, right? Maximum number allowed. Okay, we'll just write 3 years and we can put dot, 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 or we can go ahead. So it'll be 31,350 plus 15,000 again. It's 15,000. That'll be, say, it's 45,000 plus 150. So it's 46,350. That is the maximum kilometers in 3 years. So here we go. And these are the 3 terms. You can, if they ask you for more number of years, just keep on adding 15,000 to the previous term, because 15,000 is the maximum limit in 1 year. So the next part over here is write the first 4 terms of the sequence that gives the cumulative cost of the lease for a given month. See, your first 4 terms, in the sense first 4 months we need to write. What is the down payment? 1,699 is down payment. So the first term will be, no matter what, you have to pay the down payment. And then what is every month you need to pay? That is 399. So imagine you go and buy a house. So the bank will help you to buy a house, but you need to pay a down payment. That's like a lump sum of money. So say 50% of it you have to pay. Then every month you can pay the remaining. So this is down payment no matter what. It has to be done before itself. This is the recurring cost. Every month you need to pay 399. So here that would be the answer. Now next term would be whatever is the first term, you add 399. Whatever is the first term, add 399. That would be it. So here you can just use the calculator and you can find all the four terms. We can do 1699 plus 399. That is 2098. If you have to find many other terms, what you can do is in this calculator, just press answer. And now press plus 399. For the next term, I'll just press equal to. What happens is, this is the second term. It is 2497. Now what about A3? That is the previous term, A2 plus 399, isn't it? And I have to do one more month. That is A4, that is A3 plus 399. So I have put over your answer so that the previous value, whichever I get, will be stored here. Now, second month is done. When I press equal to, I get the third month because automatically this answer value changes. So now it is 2896. If you're getting much confused, you can, of course, put this plus 399. Put the answer plus 399. That's absolutely fine. Now, this is an easier way if there are many values to be found out. So the last one will be 3295. So these are the four terms, that is first 4 months basically. So here you go. That'll be the answers. Now we will move on to the next part, that is write an explicit formula to represent the sequence in the part B. Let's go to the part B. We need to write a formula. Now if I want to find the fourth month, instead of adding, for the previous terms, can I directly jump here? Yes, of course. How we can do is, say for example, AN, that is nth term, you need to add 1699, no matter for which term. That is the standard money, right? That is the thing. Plus every month it is 399. So this matters depending on the month. If I want the 10th month, then I need to multiply this by 10 because 10 times 399 plus 1699. So this is the condition. So that is the recursive formula. Sorry, this is the explicit formula. They want a formula directly to find it, right? That should be the answer. So you will have 1699, which is a lump sum amount, plus what is recurring? 399. This recurs every n. Now I wrote over here 10, my bad. It should be n. Depends on what month it is given. If it is 5, it will be 5. So this is the correct formula, 1699 plus 399. Over here it is the number of months, n. And the last part here, determine the total amount of money paid by the end of the lease. How much will be paid at the end? See, it is maximum up to 36 months, isn't it? So I'll use the same one over here. All you need to do is multiply it by 36. This is it. You put it in the calculator, you get it. So now the initial down payment plus every month recurring, maximum you can go is 36 months. And if you put in the calculator, that is the total amount. So let's type this out. 1699 plus 399 times, it's not 1 month or 2 months, it's 36 months. Type in properly. It should be 16,063. So that's the final answer. Let's look into the next problem here. Fourth term. We need to find the specified term. That's the fourth term we need to find. If the first term is given as phi, and look at this, it's a recursive formula. That means you can't jump to the fourth term without knowing the previous terms. It's not explicit. Explicit means if you want fourth term, you directly put n as 4, you'll get it. But there's no n here. So now how can we find the next term? You can't directly jump to fourth term. You need to find A1, that's phi. What about A2? A2 will be, see, even though it's writing exam, just start finding the terms, that's more than enough. A2 will be here. Instead of n, I put 2 because this is for n is greater than or equal to 2. So I can use that formula. Minus 3, A2 minus 1 plus 10. Now what happens? A2 will be equal to, this is going to be 2 minus 1. That's the previous term, A1 plus 10. Now all you need to do is, you can do it in the calculator. Minus 3 times 5 plus 10. That's minus 15 plus 10. That is minus 5. Now, how do we find A3? A3 will be using this term. So now I'm not going to write all these steps. We can directly write a3 as n, and then minus 3 an minus 1. 3 minus 1 will be 2 plus 10. And here we have minus 3 times minus 5 plus 10. That will be equal to minus will be positive. 15 plus 10, it's 25. And lastly, it is a4. That is what we are solving for. Minus 3a3 plus 10. And here we have minus 3 times 25 plus 10. That is going to be 75 negative. Then plus 10 will be minus 65. So that is the term which we wanted. That is the fourth term. So that's how we solve it up. That's minus 65. Again, same thing, but now it's the seventh term. That means we have to do plenty of iterations. So what happens here? A2 is going to be 0.5 times A1 plus 3. So here it's going to be 0.5, 0.5. A1 is 14 plus 3, that is going to be 7 plus 3, it's 10. That's A2. A1 is already given here. A3, that's 0.5 times. You can directly substitute, but I'm going to write the formula first. A2 plus 3. So that is going to be 0.5 times 10 plus 3. That is going to be 5 plus 3. That's 8. What about the next one? Again, it's half of the previous term. A3 plus 3. And here we have 0.5 times 8 plus 3. And we have 4 plus 3, that is 7. It's 4 plus 3, that's 7. See, now it's a recursive formula. You can't think of it like a sequence. It's two difference. Now it's one difference. The difference changes. So therefore, this is not a direct problem. You need to know the formula. Otherwise, you can't go ahead. So for A5, it is 0.5 A4 plus 3. So that is going to be 0.5 into... You have the previous term, that is 7 plus 3, that is 3.5 plus 3, it's 6.5. And A6, that is 0.5 times A5 plus 3, so that is equal to 0.5 times A5 is going to be the previous one, 6.5 plus 3, that's half of this is 3.25 and 6.25. And lastly, A7, that is going to be half of the previous term, that's A6 plus 3. And here we have 0.5 of 6.25 plus 3. So this is going to be 3.125 and it will be 6.125, half of that. And you can see the pattern. Next one will be 6.08, 0875 and so on. But anyways, we have to stop at seventh term. That will be the seventh term here. But please use calculators in your exam and easily find the correct answers. So here we go. These are the answers: 14, 10, 8, 7, 6.5, 6.25, and lastly 6.125. That's what we got. Now we have to find the fourth term. Now same thing again, it's a recursive formula itself. It's a recursive formula in the sense you can directly jump to fourth term. You need to find all the previous terms. So A1 is 0, A2 is going to be 3 times 3 to the power A1. That's it. Now here A2 is equal to 3 times 0, that's 1. Now what about the next one? A3 is going to be 3 times A power 2 and A3 is 3 times 1, that is 3. Fourth term. 3 times a to the power 3 A3. A3 was option power, it's number 3. So we put it in over here. That's going to be 3 times 3, 9, 27 is the answer. So that is the final answer. Here we go. Very simple problems. And here then, it's a huge formula, right? Again, it's a recursive itself. Why? Because see, this is n minus 1, n minus 1. It's just that the previous term is used twice. Let's solve it up. A2 will be equal to over here A1 squared minus 5 times A1. Then, okay, again there is plus 4. It's a big one. So A2 will be equal to, it's going to be 3 squared minus 5 times 3 plus 4. And the answer is going to be, you can just put in the calculator because, you know, you'll save a lot of time. And A3, what is going to be? It's going to be A2 squared minus 5 times A2 plus 4. And over here, whatever the previous answer in the calculator, we need to just put it over there. So this is 3 squared, that's 9 minus 15, that's 5 times 3 plus 4, and it's minus 2. And here it'll be minus 2 the whole squared, minus 5 times 2 plus 4. So it'll be 4, 8, and again it'll be minus 2. Okay, this is C. It's gonna be 18. Please remember the signs properly. If I miss this minus sign, then the answer would have been completely different. So when you're doing it in calculator, please make sure you put the signs properly. Minus 5 times minus 2 plus 4, and there we go, the answer is 18. They've just told A3, and that's the answer. Before moving ahead, a quick reminder and a humble request. Please do share my channel and my videos with your friends and to whoever that can benefit from it. And I also kindly ask you if you can hit the subscribe button and like my videos, it would mean a lot. In this question, we will use binomial theorem to find the specified terms. Here we have a very important formula, but before that, this is the binomial theorem formula, which you can see everything is in detail. Now, this formula is for any specified terms. So this k plus 1, nk, everything, I'll tell you with the example. Let's go to the first example itself. Here we have to solve for the third term. Now, k is very important. That is, whatever term they have asked, minus 1. The term, that is term minus 1. K will be over here. They have asked you third term, minus 1, that's 2. K value is 2 over here. N value is over here, whatever is raised to the power. The first term and the second one are A and B respectively. So what is the formula? What is expansion exactly? It's NCK. And then we have the first term, that's n minus k, and then the last term, that is b to the power, just k. You need to remember this. Now let's just substitute. What do we substitute? What is n? It is 7. C. What is k? 2. First term is x to the power. Now we have 7 minus 2, and the next term 2z to the power 2. Now here you can use the formula or just use the calculator and solve it up. It's up to you. I'll show you the calculator and the formula both over here. If you're using the calculator, it'll be 7. That is over here. And then shift and division symbol gives you C, and then you need to press 2. Here we go. That's 21. I'll just write it out over here. But in your exam, remember, write the K or the N like this. Given, you need to write K value. What is N? N is 7. A value is X and B value is 2Z. It's better to write all the given and then put the formula and solve. So if you're doing the formula is given like this. It's N factorial divided by whatever is the denominator. It's written as K, so I'll take it as K factorial, and N minus K the whole factorial. See, what happens is, what is N factorial? It's 7 factorial. That's whatever is up above. Divided by K factorial is 2 factorial. N minus 2. N minus K will be N minus 2. That is 7 minus 2. That's 5 factorial. So here it will be 7 times 6 times 5 factorial divided by 2 factorial times 5 factorial. Cancels off 2 1 time, 3 times, 7 3 times is 21. You can ignore this. You can directly write it, but this is how exactly we get it. Even if you don't write this, if you write the proper given terms, the substitution, the formulas, you will get full marks. What about this? X raised to 7 minus 2 is power 5. And here it is 2z. So remember, it's 2 power 2 and z power 2. So this is 2. And then we have 21, x power 5. And what is this? It is 4. And we have z power 2. So we can do 21 times 4. That's going to be 84. X power 5, z power 2. And that's the final answer. That will be the third term in this. You can see here. What is the third term? It's 84, x power 5, z power 2. Isn't that easy? With just that formula, let me write it out again. Let me write how you need to write it in detail in your exam. Given. So first, let's write n equals 6. What is k? K equals 4 minus 1, that is 3. A equals y and b is equal to, now remember it's minus, so it's minus x the whole power, that's it. Now we will use the formula, it's nck to the power n minus k and b to the power k, and over here n is 6c3, and we have y to the power 6 minus 3, and b is minus 3z to the power 3. Then we can use the calculator, and even over here see minus 3 raised to power 3, we'll just use the calculator to get the values. To get c, it is 6, and then shift and division symbol gives you c value, and then 3, so it's 20. Over here we write 20 y to the power 3. What about minus 3 raised to power 3? It'll be negative 27. See here, if it was any even numbers, let me show you, even numbers, say 2, it'll be positive. Say power 4, it'll also be positive. But whenever it's odd numbers, say 5, it'll be negative because minus sign remains. Now this is 3, so it'll remain. And then what do we have? It is x power 3. Now you can do 27 multiplied by 20. So 27, 56, that is 560. 540, sorry, my bad. It's 540 minus 540. Just use the calculators to be on the safe side. And here we go. So it's negative 540, x power 3, y power 3. That must be the final answer. And here we go. It's minus 540, y power 3, x power 3, or x power 3, y power 3. However you write it, it's fine. Okay, now here you can see it is first term is y. That doesn't matter. You know, you can even write x first. It's up to you. Now let's do this one here. See, it's 8th power. If you had done the binomial theorem, it had been such a big expansion, and then you need to figure out which is the middle term. But this formula helps us in such a huge. I'm not writing the given again and again. I'll just write the formula, which is very important, and it is n a power n minus k b power k. So here n is 8. 7th means c value will be 6, and here we have 2a raised to the power 8 minus 6 and minus 2b raised to the power, it is 6, not 8. I was just confused and I was about to write 8. That would mean everything was wrong. The exact value is 6, not 7, 6. Now let's use our calculators and figure out the values. You might be thinking, why don't we just do 8c6 and then directly multiply all these 2 to the power 6 and everything, 2 to the power 2, 2 to the power 6. Because it's writing part, let's do the steps properly. So over here now I'm writing 28, and then I will raise this. See, now this is 2 to the power 2, that's 4, but what about minus 2? Minus 2 raised to the power 8, it's 6. So that's going to be positive 64. Why? Because it is even power. So here it'll be 4 times a to the power 2, and then we have 64 times b power 6. And now we can multiply all of this together. So that is 64 times 4 times 28. And here we go, it's 7,168 a squared b raised to the power 6. Now that is the final answer. Here we go, it is 7168 a squared b to the power 6. You can skip steps. There are some problems which steps are skipped. It's up to you. As long as you have written this much, that is more than enough. Now this one, I'm not going to write the given and the formula as well. I hope you know the formula now. I'm just going to solve this out quickly. It'll be 6. Here it's 6th term, so it's power 5. I mean k is 5. And then it is 4x raised to 6 minus 5 and 5y raised to 5. There's always k value over here. And now this one will be 6 because the difference from 6 to 5. But we need the calculator over here. There are huge numbers. So it'll be 4x power 1. That's it. 5 raised to power 5 and y to the power 5. We'll just put everything in the calculator here. Please remember these are all multiplied. So you can see 6c5, there's a difference of 1, so it'll be 6 itself. 6 times 4 times 5 raised to power 5. The answer is 75,000. So here 75,000 x y to the power 5. That will be the final answer. Very straightforward. That's the answer. And what about this one? Here we need the fifth term, but it's raised to the power 9. So n c k a power n minus k and b to the power k. What we write is 9c 4. Why? Because 1 less than 5 is 4. A to the power, now not a, it's x to the power 9 minus 4 is 5. And b raised to, again, not b, it is minus 4 raised to the power 4. So now we can just use calculator and solve it directly. I'm not doing all the methods, I'm directly jumping to the answer, but you guys please do the methods. I'm just doing it directly here. Minus 4 raised to the power 4. If you want the detailed method, please go back in the video for the first and the second problem. I've done all the detailed method with the given and all the formula proper substitutions. 32256 x raised to the power 5. So there we go. That will be the fifth term. Now here it is 32256 x5. X raised to the power 5, sorry. Here as well, they are simple terms, If there are more than one, just remember when you're raising it to the power, both the terms get the power. Say, for example, 2 times c raised to power 8. It'll be 2 power 8, c power 8. But here they are single terms, they're very simple. So it'll be n c k a to the power n minus k and b to the power k. So here we have 8c4, no, not 4, fourth term, that means k value is 3, 1 less than that. And then we have a raised to the power n, that is 8 minus 3, that's going to be 5. It's not a again, I did a mistake, it's c. And then multiplied with 6 raised to the power 3. I can put this everything in the calculator and get the answer. Calculating just gives you the coefficient, the number only. It'll be 8c3 multiplied by 6 raised to the power 3, and it is 12,096. So it's 12,096 c raised to power 5. That should be the final answer. That's the fourth term over here. You can see that's it. In this question, we will prove statements using mathematical induction. Here they have asked us to prove this. 9 to the power n minus 1 is divisible by 8. How can we do this? Here we need to write a proof, sort of, it's like a writing part. Now, whenever you have been asked mathematical induction, you have to write certain steps. You start with conjecture. This is one very important thing. What you're telling, what you're supposing it to be, that is like the given part. Then the anchor step. This is the second step, anchor step. Now, what is this? Basically, it's a trial and error if it's true or false. If this anchor step is not true, you just stop it. But all your problems will be true enough to, solve the problems. Then after anchor step, you will have inductive hypothesis. Inductive hypothesis. Now you need to write this for these problems. Hypothesis, SIS. Then after inductive hypothesis, this is basically, writing the same thing in terms of our own integer or own variable. Now after this, it will be an inductive step. Like conjecture, anchor step, inductive hypothesis, inductive step, then inductive step would be the fourth step. And then we would solve it up. Then we solve it up and then try to find it. Now what is the conjecture? We will just tell this variable to be something. I can tell anything, but let's take it as Pn. Generally it's written like that in your textbooks. Let Pn be this term, 9 raised to power n minus 1, which is divisible by this is this statement. It is divisible by what is divisible by 8. Now what I did is I just wrote the question. I just added let Pn be this, okay, and it is divisible by 8. That's it. And now we will try. Anchor step is trying whether it's true or false. Let's take for n equals 1. What happens here? Here instead of n, I will put 1 and let me solve. Is equal to how much? 9 to the power 1 is 9 minus 1 is 8. And yes, This is true, right? So we can tell, or you can even try for n2. Say n power 2 is how much? 81 minus 1 is 80, which is divisible by 8. So we can tell Pn is true. You can write Pn is true for n equals to 1. It's up to you. Pn is true. No, yeah, we are right for n equals to 1. Or whatever you assume. You can write n is equal to 2 or anything. Why? Because it's not proven for all numbers now. It's not yet proven. Next, what is inductive hypothesis? Now, instead of n, we will take our own integer. Let n equals k. Okay? And now, if we change this n to k, what happens? It'll be n 9k minus 1. I'm just writing the same thing, the given question, but instead of n, I have k is divisible by 8. I've just written so much. I hope this much is clear. It's nothing much. And then inductive step. Now here what we are telling is, see what's happening. If you have 9k minus 1, it is divisible by 8. That means, how can you like formulate it? Now 9k minus 1 is equal to, can I write anything? Is equal to what? What are all the possible numbers that are divisible by 8? That are the multiples of 8. 8 times 1, 8 times 2, 8 times anything, 8 times 25, or 8 times any prime number, okay? Say 71. These are all divisible by 8. Why? Because when you divide by 8, you will have a whole number. Because 8 is multiplied, so it's of course a factor. Now, so what I can do is, instead of writing all this, I can write 8 times r. Is that okay? Where r is some, term. 8r. What did I do? I'm just saying, if you have any multiple of r, then yes, it's divisible by 8, right? So that is, I've just formulated it. 9k minus 1 is equal to 8r for some integer r. For some integer r. This is r. And now what happens is, now this can be reasoned upon. Why? Because it should be 8 times r, 8 times any number that will be divisible by 8. Because you can divide by 8 and you will get a whole number. See over here, 8 is divisible, 8 times 2 is 16. 16 by 2 is twice of 8. Yeah, it is divisible. And even 8 times 25, whatever the answer is, if you divide by 8, it'll be 25. It's a whole number. Yes, it is divisible by 8. If you get, say, for example, 10 by 8, is this divisible? No. Why? Because the answer will be 5 by 4. That's 1.25. You can't have decimal points. It should be a whole number. Now then, how do we prove? Okay, we have just got statements. Now, the first statement, let me just repeat it again. Conjecture is the given part. I've just told let Pn be this statement and is divisible by 8. Anchor step is for n equals 1. I'm just trying it for the first n equals 1. 9 to the power 1 minus 1 is equal to 8. And Pn is true for n is equal to 1, isn't it? Why? Because 9 minus 1 is 8. 8 is divisible by 8. Yeah, correct. Then inductive hypothesis, I'm just, instead of n, I'm taking it as k. And I'm telling 9k minus 1 is divisible by 8. An inductive step is going a step further and trying to formulate it. 9k, and I've written it wrong. I just realized it now. It's 9 to the power k minus 1. Okay, it's not the power, it's separated. Is equal to 8 times r, where r is some integer. That means this is divisible by 8 for all values of 8. For whatever, but r must be integer, then it's divisible. Now then, if I show, say 9k plus 1 minus 1 is divisible by 8, then it's proved, right? Now what we are doing is show 9k plus 1. That means not only this term, even the next term also is divisible. That means it is true for any other values. 9k plus 1k plus 2 will be divisible by throughout, So let us take 9k plus 1, show this much. No need of semicolon, sorry, this is not there. Is divisible by 8. You don't need to write this one. Or you can just, after this inductive step, no need of this. If you don't want, you just ignore this step. Now we are showing this, but this is for your understanding. Now we are taking this part, 9k minus 1 is equal to 8r. We'll try to solve it. Ultimately, your answer it'll take some space. Let me write the answer over here. It must be 9k plus 1 minus 1 is equal to 8 times any value. I don't know, it'll be some sort of value, but it should be 8 multiplied by that. That's it. Now this r is an integer, so that means it will be divisible by, it will be like 1, 2, 3, 4, like the whole numbers. Now then, 9k minus 1 is equal to 8r, and you need to have this k plus 1. So what I'll do is I'll take this minus 1 to the other side. It will be 9 to the power k equals 8r plus 1. Now how can I get k plus 1? I multiply both the sides by 9 power 1. So if I multiply here 9 power 1, let me write in the other next step. 9 times 9k. 9 times 9 power 1 means 9 itself. And over here also let me multiply. What happens here? The exponents add up. It can be written as 1 plus k or k plus 1, isn't it? If you have 9a times 9b, 9b, this is 9a, or xy, anything, 9a plus b. That's the power of exponents, the rule of exponents, right? So I can write k plus 1. I can write this first and that first. It's fine because it's multiplied here. It'll be added up. Okay, this multiplication. Here, let's multiply 9 inside. 9 times 8 is 8 9s are 72. R plus 9. Okay. So what next? Now we know in the final last step over here we should have minus 1, isn't it? Because initially it was minus 1, but now it's changed. So what I'll do is I'll subtract both the sides by minus 1. So I'll write 9k plus 1 minus 1 is equal to 72r. Let's write it plus 9 minus 1. I'm just subtracting 1 on both the sides. Now left side is done. 9k plus 1 minus 1 is equal to 72r plus 9 minus 1 is 8. Now, is it possible to take 8 outside? Yes. 9k plus 1 minus 1. Here, I will divide both the sides by 8. What happens? And don't do this, divide both the sides. You might do in the left side as well. We're taking factor outside, like distributive property. What I'm doing is 8 times. Now, how many times over here? It's 9r plus 1. This is the thing. If I multiply 8, its distributive property will be 72r, and 8 times 1 is 8. So this is what I initially did. I multiplied 9, isn't it? But now when we simplified, the left side is 9k plus 1 minus 1, but right side you can see it's 8 multiplied a factor. See, that is what I was saying. You will have this, right? Now we got it. We got the same thing, and equals 8 times something. But r is an integer, so it doesn't matter. This will be a factor because you have 8 multiplied something. If you have 8 multiplied any whole number, what happens? It's a factor. It's divisible basically. So why? Because over here we have already specified this is an integer, so it cannot be decimals over here. So this is what we can. This is how we can prove it. Now after this step, we can just tell by principle of mathematical induction. It will be given in the question by principle of mathematical induction. You should write mathematical. I'm just writing it out. Induction. We can tell this given question, write it out. 9n, now minus 1 is divisible by 8. Now you can tell for all positive integers, or because as we go ahead, we have tried n all positive integers, or just write so much, that is enough. Now most important thing is writing this conjecture, anchor step, induction, hypothesis, inductive step. The solving is very, very important. Now you can write something here, write couple of steps, that's fine. But this solving part is very crucial. And then you're just writing by principle of mathematical induction. This is proven. The question, you just write it out. This is how we solve it. Make sure this part is written properly. You can look into it. So this is the very crucial part. All we do is we start with 9k minus 1. Instead of n, we use k. And then we are getting 9k plus 1. That means the next term minus 1. And that's what we are done. That means it is proven. So you can see over here for n is equal to 1, 2. It implies for all the n values, this will be divisible by 8. We can try other problems. Now here as well, see, you can just use the same thing. I just change it over here. Instead of 8, what do we have? Instead of 9, we have 8 here. That's it. And it's divisible by 7. Let's try to prove it up. I'm just going to change over here and try solving it. Wherever you see 9, you need to change. So it's literally the same thing, you know. See, that's the thing. If you understand one problem properly, then it'll be pretty easy. So this solving needs to be done. This sentence, it's up to you. You can just write otherwise after you get the last step, isn't it? Write the given question. 8n minus 1 is divisible by 7. That's it. Just write that. That will be more than enough. So here now, okay, and it's not divisible by 8 here. It is divisible by 7. So let's try solving it. Let me just change the color so you know what difference. Most of the things is the same for any problem. Now here, what is the given question? It's 8n minus 1. And over here you should write, for n is equal to 1, it's 8 to the power 1 minus 1 is equal to, it's not 8, it is 7. Because 8 minus 1 is 7. So therefore, yes, it is true for n is equal to 1. Now let's take n as k, and then we will write 8k minus 1 is divisible by what? By 7. Assuming that. Now this 8k must be a factor of 7 here, not 8, because whatever is the number divisible by, that will be its factor. So here, instead of all 8s, we will have 7s. Now we are just giving an example. If it is multiplied by 7, then we divide, it will be a factor, isn't it? So that's how we get these. And then let's write 8 to the power k plus 1 minus 1 is divisible by, here it should be 7. Now that is not required, this sentence. Now let's write it out over here. We are starting with 8k minus 1 equals 7r. And we must get 8k plus 1 minus 1 is equal to 7 multiplied by certain number. So this, it should be 7 multiplied by certain number. Let's try. So here, let's take this 1 to the other side. It will be 7r plus 1. And then I multiply both the sides by 8. Because I need to have plus k plus 1. Now I can write 8k plus 1. But what happens over here? You're multiplying this also by 8. It will be 7r plus 1. 7 times 8 times 7 will be 40, 56. So it is 56r plus 8. And now we are subtracting both the sides by minus 1, like 1. Subtract by 1 or add minus 1 on both the sides. It's going to be 56r plus, now it's going to be 8 minus 1. So now here it's 8k plus 1. Left side is done. You're having 56r plus 7. Now, is this a factor? Can you remove anything out? Yes, 7 5s are 35, 6, 7, 8s are 58. So it will be 8r plus 1. So this is the factor. We got 7 times a certain number, right? Now, yes, therefore by mathematical induction, it's proven. You can tell, therefore, 8 power n minus 1 is divisible for all natural numbers n, is whatever is written in the question. Is divisible for FOR all natural numbers NUMERS n. So this is it. Whatever is written in the question, just write it down after you solve it. These steps are very, very important, and it just depends on what question is given to you. So you can see here, let me just remove it all, and here this is what was done. We have done it giving names of the steps. It's better to write conjecture, anchor step. They are really helpful. And here then this was the solving, and yes, we got 7 times 8r plus 1. And once that is done, you're just telling yes, that is proven. Similarly, we can do another one over here. You can try this by yourselves. This is blocking, but let me just write it out. Let me take that off and write it out. So all the other things, what happens is wherever this, the brown color ink is there, that needs to be changed. Because only that changes, everything else remains the same. So any problem, you can see whatever is written in blue will remain the same.
That's the thing. Here as well, let's just quickly erase it out. And this is going to be the same thing, only the question will change here. And here we go. Let's solve this one up. So I remove the first step. Let me write it out over here. That was conjecture. So what is conjecture? Basically, it's given. What is given to us? Let the Pn be 7 power n minus 1 and is divisible by, that is divisible by, I'm writing semicolon as it's a continuation of that, is divisible by 6. Okay, you can write all natural numbers of n or anything. No, sorry, this is it, this much only. Later on, that is all natural number n. That last one again over here, you can write it directly, it's 7n. Now even over here, what happens? Wait, let's do step by step itself. Now you start with 7 to the power 1. How much is 7 power 1? 7 itself minus 1 is 6. Yes, it's divisible by 6. It's true. So let's take, instead of n, it has k. It'll be 7k minus 1. And then over here you have 7k minus 1 equals r. And here it's 7. So let's start now. 7k minus 1. Our final answer must be 7k plus 1 minus 1 times, what is the factor? Here, this is very important. It's divisible by 6. This is a factor which we must have. It should be 6 times something. Now you have 6r. That's fine. Let's take this minus 1 to the other side. It will be 6r plus 1. And then we will multiply both the sides by 7. So we get 7 times 6r plus 1. And here we have 7k plus 1 because the power 1 and k, you can add them up. Here 7 times 6, 6 times 42 r plus 7. Now here you need to subtract both the sides by 1. So you have 42r, this is 42r plus 7 minus 1. So this is going to be 42r plus 6. And over here we have 7k. Left side is done. Now what happens here? Can we take the factors out? Yes, it will be 7r plus 1, and this is it. This is the final answer. Now you don't need to write what I've written over here. This is just for your understanding. I've written. That is not required. But what is there on the screen now is very important to be written out. So conjecture, anchor step, inductive hypothesis, inductive step, and then you do the proving. This show is not so important. I'm just going to erase that as well. It was for your own understanding. Okay, I'll write this inductive step it is. So this much, if you write it, you should get full marks. So this is most important, the solving part. You can see a relationship. If it's divisible by 5, then this is going to be 6 power n. So if it's divisible by 9, this is going to be 10n. So whatever the number is divisible, it'll be one more. So remember this, you need to memorize this writing. So what I would suggest is write it down maybe a couple of times, 2 to 3 times, and then you'll be thorough. Here you can see the solve method as well. The same thing, you can follow this methods as well. You can pause and go through it, and that's the answer. And that is the end of all the writing part questions. I hope you have found these videos helpful and beneficial. And if you can do a huge favor to me, that is by sharing these videos with your friends who also can benefit from it. All the advanced grade videos, EoTs, and lesson explanations are available. Please do share it for those who can benefit. And also, if you could subscribe to my channel or like these videos, it would mean a lot to me. Thank you very much for watching my videos. I wish you all the best for the exam.